I call this meeting of the Alvin Independent School District to order. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present, and this meeting has been duly called, and a notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meeting Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. And the first thing we'll have is a public hearing. Carol?
So board, this evening we'll have our public hearing, and Dr. Daniel Combs will present our first report, which is a financial report.
Good evening, President Humbert, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Nelson. Thank you for providing me the opportunity to share this exciting news with the board as well as our community in this public hearing. This evening we'll be discussing the first integrity rating system of Texas. That stands for the Financial Integrity Rating System of Texas. This was instituted in statute some years back. It's facilitated and managed by the Texas Education Agency. And board, as we go through this evening, I think you'll be able to take a point of pride in how your direction over a number of years and the direction of Superintendent Nelson has manifested into this report that we have this evening. And so the first report takes a look for the 2021 school year. Actually goes back. It's a little bit of a historical look back. It looks at student and staff data from the school year of 2019 and 2020, as well as budgetary and actual financial data from the same year, from the 19-20 school year. When this legislature started and implemented the first rating system, there were a number of intentions and objectives that they hoped to identify with this process. I wanted to take a look at the financial management of public school systems across the state of Texas. They wanted to make sure that school districts maximize the allocation, particularly for direct instructional purposes, as we are a learning organization, of course. And they want to implement a rating system that evaluates quality financial management. Additionally, they're aspiring to improve the financial management of school systems across the state and increase fiscal accountability within Texas public education. And so that's one of the reasons this is a public hearing. And so we are proud to share this information with our community, those that are here this evening. The first indicator system this year, it does change from year to year, and the state has actually strengthened and made this evaluation system a bit more rigorous over recent years. This year there's 20 individual indicators on the overall system. Some of them are pass-fail, so you either get 0 points or you get full credit, 10 points, based on whether or not something did or did not occur. Or some you can receive a range of points between 0 and 10 for full credit. So our students can relate during this finals time and grade allocations, and that's kind of what we're doing here in a little bit of a different area. For us, I'll just point your attention to the superior achievement range. There's a range of 90 to 100 for the purposes of this evening. We only need to look there. Alvin ISD has received a superior rating with a 98 out of 100 available points on the first rating system for this year. So we received a perfect score on 18 out of 19 indicators. As you can see there, just some example areas that we received perfect full credit on. We received an unmodified audit. We're compliant with all of our payments, our long-term liabilities, and a ratio to our total assets. Our debt service ratio, data integrity, administrative cost ratio, which has been a really point of pride in Alvin ISD, accuracy of our projections, and a number of other areas. On 18 out of 19, we received full credit. Indicator 5 was not scored this year. That took a look at revenue projections. We would have been fine and received full credit had they scored it, but with COVID implications and those kind of things, they put a hold on this one, and that's the right thing to do. On indicator 12, this is the area where we received 8 out of 10, and this is really not something that is, this is really kind of the metric that's being used in the circumstance we find ourselves in as a fast-growth school district. When you're adding 1,000 to 1,200 students a year, year over year, there's facility implications and building buildings. And so this looks at the ratio with the value growth in the community versus the cost, expense, and financing of constructing schools, basically. And so fast growth school districts have a little bit more of a challenge in that area, but it's just one of the kind of the burdens we bear as a fast fast growth district. And so, in summary, we received a 98 out of 100 on this year's first rating system. That is a superior rating. So again, thank you to the board for your leadership, Superintendent Nelson, for your direction that has got us to this point. We can all take pride. Hopefully the community finds reassurances yet again in the financial management of your school system. And so with that, it's a public hearing. So I'll turn it over both to the board as well as the community for questions and or comments.
Does anybody from the board have questions? Anybody from the public have any questions on it? Well, thank you very much, Dr. Combs.
Thank you all.
Very good. Next, we have a public hearing on Maxter Healthcare, Inc., Chapter 313 application.
So board, Maxter Healthcare, Inc. has made application to the Texas Comptroller, and the Texas Comptroller approved the application which they brought before the board, and now they're asking for consideration of the agreement, and so they will hold their public hearing and explain what their project is. Tonight we have Eric Geisler
Correct.
here to present for the public hearing.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. President, members of the board. Thank you so much for allowing us to be here and for your kind and thoughtful consideration of this and cooperation during the process. As Ms. Nelson said, my name is Eric Geisler. I'm President of Economic Incentive Services, and I'm joined with Greg Maxim, who's a partner with Cummins Westlake, and we're consultants for the company with all of their tax abatements, et cetera, including this application. And we're joined here with principals of the company. First, Mr. Stanley Ty, if you'll stand up, in the inconspicuous cowboy hat. He's the founder and president of Supermax Healthcare, which is the parent company, and C.K. Tan, who is the CEO of Supermax Healthcare. So, thank you again. We very much appreciate the opportunity, and I'd like to give you a real brief overview of the project. I know some of this was in the application, but I thought it would be important to show you in the public forum a little bit more about the application and the project. Maxter Healthcare, Inc. is actually the applicant for tax abatement or for the value limitation, and is a new company, especially for this project here in Texas. Supermax Healthcare is the immediate parent company and is part of the Supermax group, which is founded in 1987 by Mr. Ty and his wife, Cheryl. The Ties and this company is really an incredible success story. What initially started as a trading business, distributing latex gloves, quickly moved into manufacturing just 2 years later with a small team, and has grown into a multinational company, as you evidenced in their application, with a significant market share in the medical and surgical glove market here in the U.S. and globally. Supermax products are actually known, and their brand is well known for superior quality, and they are known really for best in class now in the industry, and is evidenced by their significant market share. Just wanted to show you where most of the surgical gloves are made currently globally. Most of these are in Malaysia, where Supermax is located or headquartered, and they have a significant market share. This slide really just shows their installed capacity, with Malaysia having about 67% of the global market, and about 50 billion gloves per year forecasted in that market, with Supermax and Maxter Healthcare having about 10 to 12% of that market. So they're a significant player. Currently have 17 plants and exports to 165 countries through distribution centers in Asia, Europe, and North and South America. So they have two main objectives for this project. The first is to build capabilities to help our government meet its goals for PPE independence, increase domestic capacity for PPE supply, and decrease dependence on foreign imports. The second main goal is to establish their first manufacturing plant in the U.S. and to capture significant market share here and in North America. Excuse me. All right,
Do you need it to go back?
Go
Oh,
back
there we
one. There you go. Thank you. All right, so about the project. In order to accomplish those goals, the company plans to build a massive manufacturing complex here in the area in Brazoria County in the Alvin ISD area, and on about 200 acres. And their plans for the facility include manufacturing, distribution, administrative, and R&D operations under, eventually, hopefully, under about 1 million square feet in 4 phases. This will result in expected production capacity of 400 million gloves per month per phase. The board has allocated up to $550 million to complete the project, but as you know, in the application, I think we've estimated for these 2 phases about $340 million. Along with the capital investment, there will be significant job creation. Planned employment is roughly 750 new jobs just in phase 1 and 2, with total estimated planned headcount between 1,000 and 1,200 through all phases, depending on new automation that may come about. We've been told that this project is the biggest initial job creator that Brazoria County has ever seen. Initial job creator. So it's a great opportunity for diversifying the economic base here, and as Judge Sebesta said, it's a great way to increase their bond rating because they're so dependent on the oil and gas and petrochemical area. This is a great opportunity, and we are really privileged to be a part of it. So those are the direct jobs for the project. The economic impact report that was done by the Alliance, the Economic Alliance of Brazoria County, shows a significant multiplier effect. But there are a number of other economic impacts that don't show up in that model, including opportunities for the local community college to help train new employees, activity and revenue for the port, and the development of nearby retail to support the new employees. And in addition, there's a real good opportunity to kind of make this an industry cluster in Brazoria County, attracting downstream suppliers of their raw materials, and so it's a unique opportunity. In terms of timeline, so construction will most likely start at the beginning of next year, hopefully after your approval, with phase 1 production lines hopefully operation by the end of 22 or first quarter of 23, and subsequent phases will follow 9 to 12 months after that. So back to this area, just to refresh your memory where this is, that's the blue square there, a rectangle just west of 288 at the intersection of County Road 52 and County Road 48 across from Schlumberger. And this was in your packet as well, but this is just a really rough draft of the plant layout. The highways and the intersections are shown there as well. It's important to note that the draft shows 4 manufacturing facilities, and they're looking at long term, but the only thing that has been approved for this application is the administrative and those kinds of buildings, and the manufacturing building 1 and 2 on the far left of those rectangular buildings. So they'll have to come back to the board and get other financial approval if they're going to do phase 3 and 4. And hopefully, we can come back to you in that time frame as well, and we can all benefit from their expected growth. That's all I have for now, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
As this is being a public hearing, if anybody in the audience has any questions for him, you're more than welcome to ask.
I have a question.
Is anybody?
Sure.
Not to be negative or anything, but the economy's kind of wacky right now. So are there any implications for Alvin ISD if you aren't as successful as hoped?
Well, there is an agreement, and there are certain provisions in that agreement that the company has to adhere to. But this project is one of those that's kind of economic slowdown insulated, if you will, because they will have contracts with the federal government to produce this PPE that is going to be onshored now, as opposed to importing those. So that further insulates them from any economic downturn. So thanks for your question. Yeah.
Does anybody else have any questions? Well, thank you very much for the presentation.
Thank you very much for your consideration. Thank you.
At this time, if you would stand for the invocation and pledge of allegiance. You would please bow your head. Heavenly Father, thank you for letting us come to this meeting and discuss the district's issues and things that are before us. Please let us make things that are right, that our decisions that will be right for our children, our community, and our staff, Lord. Please watch us over this joyous celebrations of the coming of your Son, Jesus Christ. Lord, keep us all safe during these holidays. Keep us all safe going home tonight. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right, now we will have the superintendent's report.
Okay, Board, we have lots of great things happening in the district, and our first thing that we wanted to share this evening, see if we get it brought up on the screen. Sorry, we're having some technical difficulties. If we can't get it brought up, I can talk about it. Mr. Stewart, are we good? Go ahead and go. It's not working. Okay. So Alvin ISD was awarded Workplace's top honors in 2021 by the Houston Chronicle for the third year in a row as a top workplace for the year of 2021. Alvin ISD is pleased to announce this award. The award is based solely on our employee feedback gathered through a third-party survey administered by our research partner, Intergage LLC. The anonymous survey measures several aspects of our workplace, our culture, including our alignment, execution, and connection, just to name a few. Being named a top workplace is exciting for the entire Alvin ISD community. Out of all the companies in the Houston area, only 175 made the list this year, and it's kudos to our employees because that's who the organization is our employees. Our second congratulations, which we'll be celebrating this evening, is our Manville Mavericks Volleyball. The 2021 Manville High School varsity volleyball team had made it to the 5A state semifinals. The Lady Mavs traveled to Garland to play in the state semifinals where they fell to Lovejoy High School with a hard fight. This marks the first time the Manville volleyball team has made it to the state tournament, and we're here this evening to celebrate them. Upcoming activities for 2022 is at National Oak Park. We will be doing our Alvin ISD Education Foundation Turtle Race, 5K, and Fun Run. It's only $5 a turtle, and you'll be able to start adopting them. The event will be held Saturday, February the 12th. There's also a link on our website under Turtle Race for more information. And then finally, we're getting ready for a safe and happy holiday break. We have early release this Friday, December the 17th, and our break will be December the 20th through January the 3rd. Our teachers and staff will come back on January the 3rd for a work day, and then students will return on January the 4th. Thank you.
Next, we'll go into student and staff commendations.
Ms. Rives.
Hello. Welcome, everybody, all guests, and welcome board as well. I wanted to tell you about a few of our students that have done amazing things recently and throughout the school year. So I wanted to start with one of our former students that is one of mine, and so, you know, it's always exciting when it is. But Miss Aubrey Middleton, if you'll come up, she has found a way to continue the back-to-school outreach program established by her mother, Leroy Middleton, who passed away in May. Aubrey, founder of Leroy's Legacy Foundation, presented 250 backpacks filled with school supplies to E.C. Mason Elementary School on July 15th. Now, she's been off at school, and that's why she couldn't come until this month. There was a reason, but we're super excited to have her and be able to honor her and thank her for what she has done for our students that was very much needed. So she attends Mary Hardin Baylor, where she's going to be graduating early. So we're excited about that as well. But we're very thankful to you for all that you've done. Thank you very much.
So Aubrey's mom was president of the PTO for many years at E.C. Mason, and so just what a great, legacy to carry on for your mother. So thank you for all you do for our students, Aubrey.
Yes, amazing family there. So we'll move on to our volleyball team now. So as I call your name, please come up. We'll wait up here so we can get pictures. Parents, please feel free. Come up, get pictures, do whatever you need to do for this. But congratulations to the Manville High School volleyball team for making it to the 5A state semifinals. The Lady Mavs traveled to Garland to play in the state semifinals, where they fell to Lovejoy High School. This was the first time that the Manville volleyball team has made it to the state tournament. So congratulations, girls. And when I call your name, please come up and just wait right here until we get some pictures. So Amari Jackson, Brooke White, Emily Altamirano, B. Anglis, Jaden Walker, Cassidy Browning, Morgan Sellers, Kimberly Charland, Niera Williams, Lyric Jordan, Amari Mazik, I think, I'm sorry, Mary Kate Preston, Tylese Brinkley, Kennedy Massey, Devin Lewis, and Christian Fairbank. Along with their managers, Shauna Oren, Lizette Garcia, and trainers Angel Daniels, Kamaya Brass, and coaches Susan Kennedy, Amanda Tackard, Nathan Duke, and Paige Sedillo. Congratulations, great job. Very proud of y'all. So parents, feel free to come up, take pictures.
Y'all are gonna have to come in as a real tight group
But yeah.
that y'all are.
And stay where you are when we're finished, because we have one more part to do for this.
I know y'all have done this 1,000 times. They know where to go.
I do want to say there was no quitting these girls at that state tournament.
Yeah.
And impressive players. The team that beat them actually went on to win state, but these girls played them a tough battle.
If I could see the coach for just a second. The coach is going to present a plaque to, it's the semi-finalist match plaque, and it's going to be presented to the Board of Directors, Board of Trustees, sorry, Superintendent Nelson and Mr. Gesh and Ms. Valdez, if y'all want to join them.
So on behalf of the Manville volleyball team, we just want to thank you guys for all the support you gave us throughout the season.
Thank you. We were there for the send-off. When y'all were driving by, we were out there. I'm sure you saw us, right? Several of our Board of Trustee members were there as well.
And one more thing I did not know, our coach was also awarded the Coach of the Year, so.
She keeps moving, right? So how many of you are seniors? Raise your hand if you're a senior. How many seniors do we have? So we can get back next year, right?
This team is going to be even more impressive.
Yeah.
Y'all seniors set a standard for them,
Yep.
and they're going to pull on.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. They want what? The board. The board, can y'all step down and get a picture? Board? Or should we stand behind them?
We stand behind him.
Because I don't know how we would fit there. Okay. Do y'all want the plaques up or no? Squeeze in. I'm sorry. Okay.
Show me the love.
Are we good? Okay. That's chaos. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Girls, that'll be something you'll remember the rest of your lives. Yep. Are any of our girls that are seniors going to play ball in college? Any of y'all playing ball in college? There's opportunities. Great.
I know a school in Lake
Congratulations.
Charles that might.
Oh, there you go. Are you recruiting, Trustee Johnson?
Just saying, I'm just saying.
All right, thank y'all very much. Next, we'll have a presentation, schematic design of Leroy Castro Junior High School, number nine.
So, Board, this evening, we have our team from Huckabee as well as our Director of Building Programs, Mr. Bill Van Wagner.
Thank you. We appreciate the opportunity to present where we're at, schematic design for Leroy Castro Junior High. We've been working on this for several months, trying to find something that was consistent with the high school being on the same site, and something that worked well with it. So Brendan Hoffman with Huckabee and Caitlin Munch have been working on the design team with us, and I'm going to let them take it from here.
Awesome. Thank you, Bill. Good evening, Mr. President. Ms. Nelson, good to see everyone. Board of Trustees. That was awesome. I'm not as tall as them, so I barely even make it over the podium, which I think is amazing. We're going to go through some images here as we go through the presentation. This is schematic design, like Bill mentioned. So you're going to see it way back there. Much see here, just so you can see what's going on. I'm going to go through a couple slides. So this is just an acknowledgement of you guys, but this is the site. So this is the overall site plan for the high school. And to that high school, you all have made, I'm going to shine it back there. Can y'all see that? Mm-hmm. So I can point at things back here?
Or you can shine it.
Or is it easier up here? We'll do it up here.
Here for the public.
So this is the actual high school. We're kind of over here right now. And when the high school comes into play, there are a bunch of amenities around the entire site. To that, you all have elected to add this area indicated in the black dotted line. That is the junior high. Those amenities are all tied back to the high school with the central plant in the middle. So we do have a connectivity there, and all of that was some early thinking by your construction department to think through that and make sure that you're managing the site well so that the overall site is used. There was an additional portion right here that was purchased in order to expand the detention to meet the requirements per the City of Iowa Colony. So that's been taken into account and now adjusted into the overall site plan. As we move forward to get a little closer at the area that we're adding, you can see the layout of the school itself in the blue. This is the high school. This is a junior high track and field that will go there, practice field, associated parking for bus drop-off, and parent drop-off that's tied to the loop that's currently being built as part of the high school project. As you move into the overall plan of the school, we have the main entry, which was facing the north, and then you have the student entry or bus drop-off. Oh, I went forward, not laser. Bus drop-off at the back. This is just a schematic design layout to show the connectivity and the axes that are created between the actual campus. So on the left-hand side, you have the gyms and your fine arts. You have your administration, SPED, and then you have your actual classroom wing. Centralized, you have your library, dining, and your kitchen area, all tied to an outdoor courtyard and your services at the back as well. On the second floor, you have another academic grouping that starts to be wrapping that central core that was created and creates a viewport down into the floor below. And so in another slide, you'll see that. What that translates into from a building is a floor plan. And when you get to the floor plan, you can actually see those elements start to come to life. You can actually see the gym layout. You can see where fine arts is going to go and the proximity that's created there. Sorry. Oh, it went to there. The second floor, as I mentioned, you can start to see the viewport into the from the second floor into the first floor, into the library, as well as the dining. And this starts to give just that spatial relationship between the two floors so that you can see how they're stacked on top of each other, taking your high volume spaces in your gym and your athletics and relating it to the first floor and second floor as they stack upon one another. From a public after-hour access standpoint, what we look at here is making sure that you have the ability to come into the building safe and secure and then not have anyone get into any other portion of the building. So this is a focus that was just looked into, and it does function the way that was intended. So getting to the aerial overviews. So again, we wanted to make sure that you could understand the relationship between the two schools. We want to tie the languages to the building so that you don't have two buildings on the same site that look completely different than one another. So we use the same architectural language to keep that low profile, functional layout with regards to minimizing turns and jogs, as well as then the actual adjacency to one another with the drives tying together. So as you start to look at the outside of the building approaching, taking that approach to the canopy, similar to what you see at the high school, so that it has a vernacular that is across the site similar. The same color in the brick, the tan brick, and then that red brick that starts to tie the entire campus together. So this is just a little bit different view from that same front entry. As you wrap around the side of the school, you start to see the edge profiles and the different banding throughout the building to get that same language on this vertical structure, long spans of brick, but broken up to make that vertical nature pull you across the facade. And as you go to the back where students will be dropped off, it's still treating that with the respect that it deserves. You might have visitor parking to come into those after-hour events, so you still have that representation of an entry point for the students as well as the public that are coming in after hours. So this is just another view of that and the courtyard off to the side. On the inside, we're working with design, but this would be the main openness of that library and those spaces from the second floor that you would look into to create that feel that pulls you through the building, but also allows students the opportunity to be seen and have eyes on students. So this would be the library and a main stair going up. This is another view from the librarian's portion of this where she can see or he can see out into the space and make sure that eyes are on students at all times. And as we start to look into the cafeteria space, there are other moments on the second floor that start to look into the cafeteria dining area so that you have an open feel, but at the same time you have a consolidated space where people can come, performances can take place, and you can also administer school or food as needed. In each one of the academies there is, or academic wings, there is a collaboration space as well that's designated so that students can start to break out into pods or different areas where they can, teachers can use the spaces to either go out and have self-taught lessons or allow students the opportunity to go out and study or just have a teacher use a space in a different way. And this is just an update in general with regards to the schedule. We are currently on schedule, and as you can see, we're going to be working on this all the way through construction starting in June, July of next year. And I know I went through that quick. There are a lot of pictures on there. I can go back if you want me to, or if you have any questions, please let me know.
Does anybody have any questions?
It's beautiful.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brenda.
Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it.
Let me just stick it here. All right, next we go to open forum, and no one has signed up, so we'll move on to consent agenda item, and we'll take consent agenda items A through L and do H separately, unless anybody else has another one they want to pull and do separately. All right, so do we have a motion? Let me get down here. Motion to approve consent agenda items A through L excluding H.
So moved.
Have a motion by trustee Winterstrom. Do we have a second?
I'll
By
second.
trustee Scheibel. Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next, we'll go to consent agenda item number H. We have a motion to approve request to consider approval for single line item purchase over $75,000. Houston Methodist Medical Hospital athletic training professional personnel for Alvin High School, Manville High School, and Shadow Creek High School.
Motion.
By trustee Johnson. We have a second by trustee Scott. Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? All abstain? We have 6 in favor, 1 abstain. Thank you very much. Next, we have requesting to adopt board resolution containing findings of fact concerning chapter 313.
Board, let me find the sheet real quick. Maxer Healthcare, Inc. has submitted an application for appraised value limitation under Chapter 313 of the Texas Tax Code. The application has been reviewed by both the Texas Comptroller's Office and TEA. A public hearing as required by Alvin ISD board policy was conducted earlier this evening. As final steps, the board must adopt certain findings in support of the proposed project and agreement prior to taking formal action to approve the Chapter 313 agreement. Such findings are set forth in the attached board resolution and related exhibits.
Do we have a motion to approve the resolution adopting findings under the Texas Economic Development Act on the application for appraised value limitation on qualified property submitted by Maxter Healthcare, Inc.?
So moved.
By trustee Scheibel. Do we have a second by trustee Harris? Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next, we have Request to consider final approval of Chapter 313 application and agreement between Maxter Healthcare, Inc. and Alvin ISD.
Again, Board, Maxter Healthcare, Inc. has submitted an application for the appraised value limitation under Chapter 313 of the Texas Tax Code. The application has been reviewed by both the Texas Comptroller's Office and TEA. The Comptroller has determined that the project proposed by the applicant is reasonably likely to generate tax revenue in an amount sufficient to offset the district's M&O tax revenue loss as a result of the agreement. The attached agreement with the applicant requires the applicant to protect the district from any loss of state aid resulting from the limitation, which is called revenue protection payments, and also requires the applicant to make supplemental payments to the district. TEA has determined that the proposed project will not significantly impact existing district facilities, and the proposed agreement has been approved by the Texas Comptroller's Office.
All right, do we have a motion to approve the application and agreement of limitation on appraised value of property for school district maintenance and operation taxes pursuant to Chapter 313 of the Texas Tax Code with Maxter Healthcare, Inc.?
So moved.
By Trustee Scott, do we have a second?
Second.
By Trustee Winterstrom. Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next, we have request to consider approval of the guaranteed maximum price for Deborah Orem Nichols, Wilma Mountain Fountain Mock Elementary.
Board, on November the 18th, 2021, representatives from Alvin ISD Building Programs, GPD Group Architects, and Gamma Construction received competitive proposals from subcontractors and vendors for this project. After review and evaluation of these proposals, Gamma Construction has submitted a guaranteed maximum price amount of $28,596,000 for review and acceptance by Alvin ISD staff and the Board of Trustees.
All right. Do we have a motion to approve a guaranteed maximum price of $28,596,000 for construction of Deborah Orem Nichols Wilma Fountain Mock Elementary School number 21, and authorize the superintendent or her designee to review and execute the final negotiated amendment to the construction manager at risk contract with Gamma Construction?
So moved.
By Trustee Tonini, second by Trustee Harris. Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next, we have request to consider approval of municipal service agreement with the City of Iowa Colony, annexing area that includes Sanchez Elementary.
So Board, Iowa Colony notified us that they are in the process of annexing the area that includes Sanchez Elementary. As part of that annexation, a municipal service agreement between Alvin ISD and the City of Iowa Colony is required for consideration.
Do we have a motion to approve the board authorizing the superintendent to review and approve a municipal service agreement between the City of Iowa Colony and Alvin ISD in connection with the city's annexation of Bell Sanchez Elementary? By Trustee Scott, do we have a second? Trustee Scheibel, any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next, we have request to consider approval of policies EHB local and EHBAA local.
According to the TEA schedule board, Alvin ISD is participating this school year in the IDEA cyclical monitoring review to determine compliance with federal and state laws for serving students with disabilities. For districts in Cycle 3 review group, TEA is requiring board-adopted local policy in 2 areas. First, a policy related to the district's ongoing training opportunities for teachers of students with dyslexia, and number 2, a policy to ensure that a student transitioning from early childhood intervention has an IEP developed and implemented by the child's 3rd birthday. TEA is also requiring districts to have a written administrative procedure to ensure compliance with the requirement to report through PEAMS the number of students enrolled in the district who are identified as having dyslexia. Attached are the 2 policies that would allow Alvin ISD to be in compliance while participating in the IDEA cyclical monitoring review.
Do we have a motion to approve policy EHG local and EHBAA local as presented?
So moved.
Trustee Harris, do we have a second? By Trustee Tonini. Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next, we have request to consider approval of employment of personnel.
Board, as you can see on the attached list, we have several positions that are being requested for consideration for a contract, and these are openings that we currently have. You'll see anything from a math teacher to a school nurse to a PEMS coordinator to a music teacher to a science teacher. So there's several employees on this list for consideration.
All right. Do we have a motion the board approval be granted for requested personnel items as presented? By Trustee Scheibel. Do we have a second? By Trustee Johnson. Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next, we have request to consider approval of administrative appointment, Assistant Principal, Manville High School.
So Board, if you recall back when we were working through our budget workshop and approved budget in June for the 2021-2022 school year, a position for an assistant principal was approved for a mid-year hire, which will assist at Manville High School currently due to the enrollment of students there, and then the position itself will transfer to Iowa Colony High School. And this evening, the recommendation from our committee is to recommend Ms. Erin Mayo. She's currently serving in Alvin ISD as an advanced academic specialist at Fairview Junior High, where she also served as a science teacher for a year. She previously served in HISD for 4 years as Dean of Instruction and an assistant principal at both Revere and Ortiz Middle Schools, as well as a teacher in Pasadena ISD for over 14 years. Erin has over 21 years' experience in education. She received her bachelor's degree in accounting from University of Houston Clear Lake, her master's of education degree in educational administration from Lamar University, and her doctorate in education administration from Texas A&M University. She has served in many campus leadership roles during this time in her career, such as team leader, campus testing coordinator, compliance coordinator, professional development coordinator. She also is participating in Alvin ISD's Future Administrators Academy. So the committee is recommending, and myself recommending to the board for consideration, Ms. Mayo, to assist in leading the staff as an assistant principal at Manville High School.
Do we have a motion for approval be granted for Erin Mayo to be assistant principal, Manville High School?
So moved.
By Trustee Scott. Do we have a second? By Trustee Winterstrom. Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0.
Erin, if you would like to stand, she's here this evening. And I believe her daughters attend Alvin schools as well. Do you want to introduce your family?
Yes, this is my youngest daughter, Abby. She's a senior at Shadow Creek. This is my oldest, Zoe. She graduated in 2020 from Shadow Creek. And then my parents, who also came to support me.
Wonderful, thank you. So she is a senior at Shadow Creek High School. Yes. Welcome to the position. You're with us, but congratulations.
All right, next we have request to consider approval of administrative appointment, assistant athletic director and head football coach, Iowa Colony High School.
So Board, you saw on the employment sheet, we did recommend for her a head band director, but the band director will not start until later in the spring. But our head football coach and assistant athletic director will be beginning his position in January. So this evening, the committee, I will tell you, let me give you a little background. So the position was posted internally first, right? Because our goal is to grow our people and that they have the opportunity for leadership positions within the district. So we posted internally, had great applicants, great interviews. And so we said, if we don't find, what we feel would be the correct person for the position, then we would post outside because we knew we would have lots of interest in this position. The committee came back and recommended a second interview with myself and Mr. Gesh, and they felt like the candidates that they interviewed were highly qualified for the position. So yesterday, Mr. Gesh and myself had final interviews, and the committee, we support what the committee recommended, and our recommendation is, I know him as Ray Garza, but it's Raymond Garza. Mr. Garza is currently serving as a teacher and the defensive coordinator for Shadow Creek High School. During his time here in Alvin ISD, Coach Garza has served as a teacher and a varsity assistant football, track, and basketball coach for 8 years at Manville High School, and as a teacher, eighth grade football coach at Harvey Junior High. He previously served as an assistant to the football operations for 4 years at Texas A&M University. During his 5 years at Shadow Creek High School as the defensive coordinator, the football team's record was 48-11, with 2 appearances at state. Ray has over 15 years in experience in education, with 14 of those teaching and coaching experience in Alvin ISD. He also went to state with Manville High School. So I think he played football at Alvin High School, was coached by Kirk Martin, I believe. Is that correct? Correct me if I'm wrong. And Coach Bass and Coach Dungan, probably. And then he worked underneath Coach Martin, and then Coach Butler was very smart to bring him on to open Shadow Creek High School. So he's had great mentors. And as you know, Shadow Creek has had a very successful program under the direction of Coach Butler, but also Coach Garza as defensive coordinator. So the committee felt, with his experience and the mentors that he's worked under, that he would be a great fit for leading and starting the program at Iowa Colony High School. He attended Texas A&M University, where he received his BS in kinesiology, and went on to Lamar University, where he earned his master's in educational leadership. Ray holds a Texas Educator Certificate in physical education, special education, and also his principal certification. The committee is recommending and asking for consideration for the board to consider Mr. Garza for the Assistant Athletic Director and Head Football Coach of Iowa Colony High School.
Do we have a motion for approval be granted for Raymond Garza to be Assistant Athletic Director and Head Football Coach at Iowa Colony High School? By Trustee Tonini, second by Trustee Harris. Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Congratulations.
So Ray, if you can stand and introduce your family.
Yes, today I have my amazing wife, Emily Garza, here, 3 children that are here, and giving Raymond Garza. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm excited to give back to Alvin ISD, which is one of my communities on that district. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
Very excited. He failed to mention that his wife is a nurse at Manville High School, so she's also with us. And then his mother's retired from Alvin ISD as well. So we look forward to great things. And I noticed that he has a different green tie on tonight. He had a different green one on yesterday. And I don't know what during this other interview if you have another green tie. So there'll be a lot of green in the wardrobe. Thank you, Board.
All right, well, that concludes our deal, so I will make a motion to adjourn. We have a second?
Second.
By Trustee Winstrom. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. We are adjourned. Thank y'all very much.
Board. So if Ms. Mayo